Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome again to another painting tutorial. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy my painting videos. Today I'll be painting a cat. I have a lot of cat paintings, tutorials and non-tutorials. So I just love cats because when I paint their eyes, just like when I paint the eyes of dogs or puppies, I feel like I'm painting water because of the reflections and because of the dimensions and depth that are involved. So today I'll be painting a cat, which I hope uh, result it results in a very cute cat. Okay, so I'll do my best to make it as realistic as possible. And the colors that I'll be mentioning for today's tutorial will be listed in the description box below. So we have burnt sienna, okay? We have medium yellow or primary yellow. You can also use cadmium yellow. I have black. Actually, my black is more on the, what they call this, transparent, translucent side because I bought the wrong kind of black that I need. It's ivory black instead of oxide black. But I'm just going to stick to this one because I bought two, to be honest. So I'm just going to make things work for me. And then, of course, we have titanium white. So those are the only four colors that we'll be using for today's tutorial. And I'm using an 11 by 14 inch canvas paper. So let's begin now. I'm going to sketch first the subject. I haven't prepared the colors. So for the sketch, I'm just going to use my black. And let's begin now. So for the sketch, I'm just going to use a small paintbrush so that you see where things are going to go. I'm going to dab onto my black. It's ivory black. You don't have to use ivory black because, again, I do not suggest that you do this or you use this. It's on the translucent side. It's my mistake, actually. So just use your oxide black or non-transparent black, okay? So that will be face. So you can see here, it's really translucent. But I'm just going to make it work for me. The cat is actually a little bit, the head is a bit tilted. Okay. You know how cats tilt their heads just like dogs? But it's so cute. Okay. We have a big cat, big kitty. All right, so that's basically the shape. Okay, and then I'm gonna already outline or sketch where the other parts of the face are gonna go, just for you to see. Okay, that's the chin, and then I'm just gonna go. Okay, this is the mouth, right? You know, when I sketch, I use paint directly. So if you are into penciling things prior to doing the painting, it's all right. You can use your pencil. It's just that I don't use pencils. Well, not anymore. For me, it's not acrylic painting. If I've got something else, medium wise in there. It's mixed media already. I know it sounds funny because it's just sketch, but I just want it to be pure acrylic. Okay, let's mark already where the tiger markings are located. So, actually, when we sketch the subject, prior to doing the painting. I feel like it's much easier to just proceed with the painting later. Sketch for me is the hardest part of the painting process because it's the framework of our paintings. So I will make corrections as may be necessary. Okay, this is just very preliminary to what I'm gonna do. Okay, so basically that's the face. Okay, this is not the actual color of the eyes. We're just trying to sketch it. Okay, believe me, it's not, and I don't like it. Okay, so using my black, I'm just gonna mix it with white and maybe a little bit of brown so that we can start the underpainting. So there you go, my titanium white. And then my burnt sienna. And I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow. A little bit of yellow to that. Okay. So let's begin. I'm gonna underpaint my cat. So using white, I'm gonna mix my brown and yellow and black. Let's wash that brush out. I'm gonna use more black. Okay, so it's like grayish brownish color. Just for the underpainting, it's not really the actual color. So this will be the color. So let's just start coloring it with this color. And I'll be painting over the sketch line already because the sketch was only done for purposes of showing you where things are gonna go, but it's not the actual color. Okay. I'm just gonna make some markings. I'm gonna apply a little bit of gray color right here on the bridge of the nose. Okay, a little bit of yellow markings right here on the cheeks. Again, this is not the actual color. We're just trying to make some markings for now. Okay. Let's continue erasing already the sketch line. Okay, let's darken the head. Now I'm gonna use some gray color, okay, to underpaint the rest of the body. So I'm gonna use my white and black. I'm gonna do a grayish color. And I'm gonna make the cheeks of my cat a little more chubbier, a little more chubby, I mean. Okay, like that. And I'm gonna use my hands in Okay, this is the underpainting. So don't forget where you place the sketch. So that when we go over it later, we still know where things should go. Okay. And use the same gray colors on the ear, on the ears actually. Okay, I'm gonna wet my brush. Still with the gray color. We're not changing colors. Just go under the eyes and right here. Okay. This is a really chubby kitty. Okay, I will just make a little bit of adjustment right here on the chin part because I made it really pointy. Should not be that pointy. Okay, just like that. Okay, and I'm gonna use the same color, the gray color, but I'll be darkening it. Okay, so I'm just adding more black this time. Actually, more black right here, and you can see that I expanded the body so that I get chubbier cat. You can go actually in any direction at this moment because it's just the underpainting and we will be covering a lot of this area later. The purpose is just to give it some depth, okay? It's not really to give the actual color. Okay. Oops. Again, let's make it quite dark. Okay, like this. All right. Wow, the cat is all gray. Just gonna make a little bit of adjustment over here. Okay, like that. And I'm gonna use my black now. Let's go back to doing some details. Okay, so I'm just gonna make some like this. Again, this is very preliminary. Okay. Doesn't make sense. It looks like a child's drawing, in all honesty. But this is how a painting comes to life. Just make some brush strokes that are very representational of fur. Also go outside the sketch line to really give it some fluffiness. Okay. I'm gonna mix my brown and black and yellow. More black since I'm using translucent black. Let's just redefine the chin area. Okay, like this. And then using black, just darken it. It's like that. And using black, I'm gonna make some markings on the cat's face. You see, I'm just tapping. I'm just tapping. No smudging or anything like that. Just tap. Also here, it's under the eye. Okay. Using black. Okay, like that. And using black, let's create some more patterns. I actually don't know what time we're gonna finish. I'm just gonna enjoy this. Okay. Some markings. And don't forget to go back. I'm gonna just make some adjustment because I feel like, yeah, the mouth is too high. Okay, just like that. Just gonna make some gray just to fill in this space. Okay. Mm. Also, the head, just gray the top of his head, cat's head. Okay, just like that. Okay, and I want to color the nose already. So I'm gonna get my brown and white. So it's just light brown. Okay. All right, just like that. Okay, and maybe using a little more pointy brush. I'm gonna get my black. I might get my oxide black because I do have a little bit of oxide black, because this translucent black is not really, on some areas I need that oxide black, but most areas will be okay with the oxide, with the ivory black that I'm using. So I will, let's see if I'm gonna change it. Okay, for now I'm gonna stick to this, make it work for me, just like this. All right, just like that. And then I'm gonna add some dots here. Okay. Let's add some black markings right here on the nose bridge. Okay. And then some yellowy colors. Right here. You want to make it look natural, which means that you have to use some techniques. Okay, like this. Gonna add a little bit of yellowy color. Sorry about the noise, guys. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellowy color here. You know what, now I just don't want to get mad about the noise, because um it will happen. It will always happen, no matter what I do, no matter how much I hate it. It's just gonna happen. So yeah, just be quiet when there's noise and let the noise be the center of the video. I just don't care anymore about that noise. Before, I would always complain, but now, okay, just let it go. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellowy color on the body. And again, I'm doing some brush strokes that are very similar to fur. Very short, very long strokes. Okay, just like this. Okay. Now I'm gonna use some dark gray. And let's create some darker gray markings on certain areas. Like this. Okay. Then I'm gonna use some black. Right here. Okay. Now I'm gonna get a stiff brush, a stiff brush. I can't talk properly, so I'm gonna use a very stiff brush, and I'm gonna dab onto my white and add a little bit of black so that it's lighter gray. It's not pure white, okay? And I'll be using the dry tip of this stiff brush. So hard to pronounce. And I'm gonna create some fur-like brush strokes. Since the brush is stiff, okay, it will create that fur-like brush strokes that I probably would not have achieved if I'm just simply using an ordinary brush. So I'm just gonna start creating some details. So again, white and a little bit of black. You don't want to use pure black at the moment. However, you don't want to use pure white. So it's just in between. Okay. And I'm also covering already some areas around the eyes. Because the sketch that I did to the eyes or for the eyes are very thick, in all honesty. So it's not really the size of the eyeballs for this cat. It's just a sketch, so don't be confused. I know it looks a little bit weird because we haven't done the eyes. Okay, we just sketched it, but no details yet. So I'm still using gray, and I'm just sometimes dabbing, sometimes creating some long fur. Okay, just like this. Okay, and let's go right here. Again, I suggest that you use a stiff brush for this. So I'm just gonna go around the mouth area. And here on the chin. We will be glazing some areas later to give the cat more dimension so that it's not looking flat and, you know, very cartoony. Okay, like this, and also on the bridge of the nose. We're not going to cover those markings that we already did earlier, but we just want to make sure that it has some white fur. All right, like this. Okay, like this. Okay, like that. I'm gonna get my white again. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of black. It should not be pure white. It should not be pure black. It should be light gray. Okay. Okay, maybe that's too dark. I'm gonna apply more white. Okay, and I'm just gonna go in the same manner as what we did on the face. So I'm just gonna follow the body of the cat. So the purpose of the gray underpainting is again to provide some depth. Okay, right here. All right. And again, go outside the line so that you make a suggestion of fluffiness. And I'm really dry brushing now. I did not wet my paintbrush here, the stiff brush, because it will create the dryness and the stiffness will create that fur patterns. If you are if you've been painting for quite a while, you should have a stiff brush, because my stiff brush is just an old brush that I overused. Okay, so I'm gonna dab onto my pure white, but without washing my brush, so that some gray will also be there. You know, I don't mind having some tiny bits of gray because we're trying to paint a lot. I mean, a natural subject, which is a cat. So you want to make sure that it looks like fur. So of allow the bristles of your brush to do the job. Again, we will be glazing some areas here because as of this moment, the cat is looking flat. Okay, we will be graying some areas, darkening some areas. It's all part of this process. Okay. And I'm going to go back to the face now. I'm going to go around the chin area. Okay, like that. And again, I'm going to go up. Okay, here. We're not trying to cover the yellow colors right here on the face. We're just glazing it with some white or gray. Okay, just like this. Okay, I'm gonna use a darker gray, meaning I'll be adding more black this time. And I'm gonna use that right here under the chin. Okay, and I'll be using darker colors, okay, right here on the sides. You really want to give this cat dimension. So by darkening the sides and lightening the center, you give it a 3D feature. Okay, and also right here, some dark gray color. And also around the mouth, right here. Okay. Just darkening the corners or the sides. Okay, I'm gonna get my black. Let's add some depth. Okay, like that. And here. Okay, using some black. Let's add some more markings. Okay, maybe I'm gonna add more darkness right here on the mouth. Okay. All right. Okay, so we've basically underpainted this cat. I want to go and fix the mouth because I've covered. Okay, I've just, you see, the mouth is gone. Okay, and create some nose. And here in the middle. and some gray colors. Okay, I'm gonna get some light brown. Let's just okay. Let's just lighten this area and around it. Okay. Let's go back to that later. Now let's go to the eyes. I'm gonna get my yellow and mix it with the brownie color right here. I'm gonna add a little bit of black to tone it down, to tone down the color. And I'm just gonna paint the eyes with this color. Gonna add more black to make it look more green. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of white to the green-black mixture. And again, as I told you, this is not the size of the eyes. This is just a sketch. We'll be painting over it later. I mean, now. Okay, just like that. And I'm gonna reapply some of that color right here. Okay. We have to wait for this to dry before we move on to doing the details on the eyes. Okay, we have to wait. Okay, and now while we're waiting, I want to background my cat painting with some gray. Okay, so I'm just gonna get my white and black. And yeah, let's background this. Maybe I'm gonna use my black oxide. Because again, I do not advise that you use ivory black. It's translucent, transparent, if you want to call that. But oxide black is pure uh, opaque. I'm going to use a darker color, darker color. So I'm just going to, while waiting for the paints to dry, this is the best time for us to do the background. Yeah. This will be really easy, the background, because we've occupied, a large space already. So you will only be painting only a few areas for the background. And also, this is just to kill time, make use of that time while waiting for the paint to dry. Okay. like this. Okay. So I'm gonna make this side a little more light. Okay. Again, I'm trying to be patient with the noise because the driver doesn't know me. I don't know him. And he's just doing his job. So I cannot be really, really mad at him. Uh, yeah, I cannot really be mad at him or at her. I don't know. That is something that is beyond our control. Okay, I think the cat's face or the cat's underpainting is already dry. We were able to background it already. I can go back to the eyes. Let's fix that. So I'm gonna get my oxide black. This is where the oxide black really, really comes to the the scene. Okay, I'm gonna outline again the eye using a pointy brush. And we're gonna outline it. Okay. Okay, like this. Okay, and using black again, we're just gonna go and create the pupil. Okay, like that. And I'm just gonna use the black color to color the inside of that pupil. Okay, like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I forgot to tell you that I might use a little bit of blue color. So just get ready with your primary blue. Okay, just like that. And I'm gonna color the inside again with just oxide black. Okay. All right, just like that. Okay, for now. Okay. Okay, and then let's make some adjustment on the eye. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get some gray. And okay, make it dark gray. I'm just gonna go under the eyes. I made the application quite thickly. Okay, make some tiny markings right here. Okay, and then using black, just add tiny markings. Right, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna get again my gray color. I think the eye, the pupil is already okay. So I'm gonna get some water. Let's apply some gray color right here. Okay, just like that. And then using this gray color, I'm just gonna use some water and I'm gonna spread some of that right here on the yellow part of the eyes to give it some sort of a film like, yeah, just like a film, thin film. Okay, and then I'm gonna mix my yellow with some white. And I'm gonna go right here. Okay, like that. Okay. Okay, just like that. Then I'm gonna use my pure white. Pure white right there. Pure white right there. And a little bit. Okay, just like that. Okay, now I want to get my blue. Using some blue color and white. Okay. Let's add some blueness to this. Okay, and I'm just gonna go around the eyes. These are very small Small details we could ignore, however, just makes a lot of difference. Okay, a little bit of hints of blue right here. Not because it's blue, but because of light, okay? A little bit of blue. Okay, like that. Okay, a little bit of gray. Okay. And a little bit of white. Like that. And white right here. Right here. Okay, now using again my stiff brush. I can use another stiff brush. It's really pointy. Again, this is not a pointy brush when I bought this. It just got this pointy because of overuse, all right? So I'm just gonna use my pure white this time. And I'm gonna make some overlapping brush strokes like this. Right here. This is just pure white, and I'm using a stiff brush to dry brush. Right here, some little markings. Mm, here. Let's make the cat a little more fluffy. This area will be for my signature. Like this. And some short dabs for the fur. Let me check. Okay, and then I'm gonna get some yellowish grayish colors. So yellow and brown and white. Okay, right here on the bridge of the nose. And some yellow colors down here on the fur, just to be consistent with the colors of the cat's fur. I'm gonna get my black again. Okay, right here. I'm just dry brushing. Okay, and let's create some separation between the head and the neck. Because our cat doesn't have a neck. Okay, like this. And then some more fur. Okay, we're getting some light brown. Oops, it's not light brown. Okay, and just lighten this part. Okay. Let's create some more fur patterns. Right here. And using black also. Some patterns like that. You see, guys, I'm trying to control my temper when it comes to noise. I don't react anymore while it's very noisy. I usually react now when it's done. Okay. So I'm going to darken the side of the face by applying some watered down black or watered down dark gray. Using this technique, we are going to create some dark sides. Giving it dimension. Now using again my oxide black, let's create some like tiger patterns. For the whiskers. We already did that earlier, but we're just trying to remake them. Okay. I'm gonna darken a bit this part of the nose. And I'm gonna darken this part of the eyes. Okay. Okay. So darken it like that. Also right here. Some black markings. In browns. Okay, like that. Okay. Gonna get my black. I'm gonna make the eyeballs a little bigger. Sorry about that. We are just adjusting it, making it a little more big. Okay. Yeah, just like that. I just made it a little bigger. Which means some highlights will be adjusted as well. So I'm just gonna get some white and mix it with blue. So it's light blue. And again, I'm just gonna go around that pupil. Okay, just like that. Also right here. Also here. Just go around the pupil. Okay, like that. Now using some pure white, let's create some more tiny fur around the face or on the face. Okay, I need more white. Right here. Okay, and here. Under the eyes. Okay. Okay. Right here on the near the mouth or near the nose. Let's just lighten it a bit and maybe add some browny yellowy colors. Oops. It should be a little more yellow. Right here. It should really look natural. Like that. Okay. Using some more stiff uh, brush. Gonna get my white, but I accidentally grabbed some gray. So let's just stick to it. Okay. Okay. Let's get some black. Let's create some more patterns. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now let's do some whiskers. So for the whiskers, I'm just gonna use a really fine brush. Okay, I'm just gonna use my fine brush and get my pure white. So let's create some tiny and some long whiskers. If you have fine brush, go ahead and use that. My brush is not really as pointy as I want it to be. Okay, I'm just glazing it with some white over the bridge. Okay, and some yellowy colors right here. Okay. Some more dark colors under the chin area. Okay, just like that. And I hope I still have some more point brush. I need some white. I'm gonna make some dots, dotted markings or blobs of paint around this area. And some more fur-like brush strokes right here. I'm gonna dab onto my brown and black and yellow. You just want to make sure that the tiger stripes are still here. We don't want to lose that. Okay. And right here on the face. I'm going to add a little bit of yellowy colors here and there. And some browns. Now I'm going to add tiny hint of browny color because the skin of the ears, it has a browny color to it, just like a normal skin. So we don't want to miss that. And some black. Some grays. And we're going to color around or along the edge of the ears with some white just to highlight it. And right here on the corners. Marking. Okay, I'm gonna gray this down. kind of like how this is going. We're gonna add some more gray colors. Right here. And some more whiskers right here. Okay. Now using some gray color, we're gonna gray this area of the mouth. Ever so slightly. Like that. Just graying it. And while we're graying it, again, we don't want to forget the mouth again. We don't want to paint over that area, just like what I did earlier. I feel like my neighbor upstairs are playing basketball. They are like so noisy. Okay. Now let's go back to doing some more white fur. So using some white. I'm just going to create some more details. Like that. Can you hear that? I think you can hear the noise, like playing ball or something. I mean, why would you play basketball inside your house? Okay. Some more markings right here because I forgot. And I'm gonna glaze this side with some white. We're not trying to cover it, we're just trying to glaze it. Okay. And some watered down white right here to make it really, really shiny. Mhm. Wow. Oh my God. I love this one. Okay. Okay. Let's try to blur the sides of the face. Okay. Like that. Okay, again, we don't want to forget the line that separates the face from the neck. We want to make sure that we don't make the neck and the head one and the same. Okay, let me check. Okay, I love this one. I want to make sure that the eyebrows are like irregular, you know, for looking natural, in other words. I'm gonna get some brown. Let's apply some browny color just along under the eyes. Again, just to make it look more natural. Okay. Like this. One, two. We're just gonna redo some dots right there. Okay. See. Oh, nice. Nice cat. But then we want to make sure that this area of the ears has a variety of darkness and brownness so that it's looking more natural. Okay, like that. Like that. Okay. And one last, because I keep on deleting or erasing that part. And here's some gray right here. Okay, like that. Okay. Yeah, just like that. I think I'm gonna sign this now. Kind of like it, but again, we don't want to waste our blue paint, so I'm just gonna dab on some tiny hints of blue here and there. Okay. You don't want to overdo this bluing. You just want to make sure that there is some sort of blue happening. This will give your painting more light. Or light effects. And you don't want to overdo that, just a hint of blue. And I think this is finished. So I'm going to sign this now. I do have a lot of brown here, but I'm going to mix it with blue so that I create a darker color. And I'm going to sign right here. If you can see that, yeah, you can see it. Okay. And we're finished. So I hope you enjoyed this cat painting. I hope you like this one, and I hope you paint along with me. If you like this video, let me know in the comment section below. If you're painting along with me, or if you've painted along with me in the past, let me know as well in the comment section below. So see you in my next one, guys, and have a happy weekend. Bye-bye. Love you.